Welcome to Expat Hoops 2024 NBA Draft preview. The internationals were joined by Giordan Watson. So we're going to get right into it and ask him about, well, probably maybe. That's the thing with the 2024 draft. There's a lot of noise. Don't really exactly number one overall. There's been a lot of speculation. But we'll start with Alex Sarr. What do you think about him, Giordan?
I liked him. I liked how active he is. Obviously, the first thing you notice is his size and athleticism. But with that, he's guarding a lot of different positions on the perimeter, and then you see him protecting the rim. You see some clips. He's playing good drop defense, getting out on the perimeter, guarding guards, making them have tough shots. You're not gonna. I don't know if he's gonna stop everybody, but as long as you can make him have a tough shot, that's very important. Using his length and his athleticism. So yeah, that's the defensive side. Yeah, offensively, um, he's catching a lot of alley oops, putbacks, taking care of a lot of things in the paint. Not really playing so much in the post, but I think he's kind of raw offensively. He's not as polished as a Wemby, but he's still got some offensive talent off the dribble and creating his own shot. It's more of a Giannis feel. We're just getting downhill and doing things like that. Not really a knockdown shooter, but he's shown that he can hit some outside shots, and I think that'll get better as time is going on. So he's got a lot of room to grow, but he's already shown his great ability that he has right now.
Yeah, and I don't know if you would agree with this or not, but one of the things I think I like about him is if I'm one of the teams in the top, he's probably not getting past two, no matter who the teams are actually drafting there. I think I feel the best. He's one of the better prospects that I feel the best about in terms of saying, all right, he's got the size defensively. If nothing else, he'll give me that. Call it a day with kind of like a lot of the other prospects, whether they're domestic or international, that you just kind of don't know. So he just kind of seems like a little bit more of a, I don't want to say a sure thing, but something that'll give you kind of like at least a ceiling that's a little maybe higher.
Yeah, I think he's somebody that you don't mind. I don't even think
Or a
it's.
floor,
I
I
don't want
should
to
say.
take. Yeah, I don't want to say take a risk, but I think he's somebody that you can feel safe with taking in the top few picks in this draft, just because 7'1" athlete, doing a lot of things all over the court, covering a lot of ground. He's a very safe pick.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I think some of the noise that is coming out about, he said some things about how he wants to go to Washington. I think Atlanta's been kind of playing some games to try to get DC to move up, and I just don't think, based off of some of the things that I'm hearing, that the Wizards are inclined to really move at all. I think that they're pretty much intent on getting Sarr. Now the question will be with Atlanta, if they were to take Sarr, how that would impact what Washington does. So I don't really know exactly how to project movement here in this draft, just because I don't really know who's super motivated to move around. But should be one of the interesting things. I don't see him getting past two. I think the only interesting thing that we could see is if Atlanta decides to kind of call DC's bluff and just takes him. But that actually kind of moves into our next prospect, another French international, Zachary Richarcey. He's also been mentioned with Atlanta. Also, there's been Donovan Clingan talks, not necessarily at one, but with Atlanta. So if Atlanta decides to move back, but he's another person here in Richarcey that could go number one overall or not too long afterwards. What do you see from him that you like? Some cons that you see from him, and where you see his NBA career potentially going?
I really liked him. I think he's probably about 6'8", 6'9". Looks like he can be a great defender. I saw him picking up the ball, full court defense, um, longer arms, getting in the lane, getting steals, running on misses, and getting easy baskets in transition. I won't call him a knockdown shooter, but I think he can grow to be a knockdown shooter, a real 3-and-D guy. Um, he's good off of the ball. He understands spacing, understands slashing and cutting and timing, things like that. Yeah, and then being 6'9" and an athlete that can shoot is always a good thing in the NBA, playing defense also. And it's good that he's played in France, because France is an up and down league. kind of just like Australia is for with Sarr. I think it's a pretty safe pick, pretty safe top pick.
So the question will be what Atlanta actually is going to do with it. But if it's not Atlanta and it's still one of the top teams, where could you foresee him going if, say, Atlanta decides to trade out of the pick? Who do you think might actually try to reach up to potentially get him? Or if Atlanta decides to go in a different direction, who do you see as being a decent fit for Richardsay? Other than probably San Antonio, because we can mention them for pretty much anybody as being a good place to fall to.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see really what's going on, because you never know. With this draft, it's kind of tricky because there's not a lot of star power coming in. So you never know if teams are going to start trading, giving up draft picks, and trying to just move around because there's nothing so spectacular like we've seen in previous drafts. I think players like this usually do good. San Antonio, they're good for taking the foreign guys and younger guys and building them, molding them. It'll be interesting to see if Washington got him or if Atlanta got him, what could go on. I don't know. It's hard to say really, because I really think some trades and stuff might be happening in this draft.
Yeah, it's an excellent point. I really, Atlanta just seems to be all over the place in terms of some of the rumors that are coming out there. So it's certainly hard to predict, but trying to see who might be a good landing spot for him is certainly a fun exercise to ask you about. But we're going to go to the last, at least one that we're going to record tonight anyway. Nikola Topic, Red Star. He's only played in a few games with them this year because he's had some injury issues, which that actually is a big underlying thing here, because he still has an injury that's going to keep him out this next year. So in terms of what you see from him, what are some of the positives? What are some of the negatives?
Positive is being a 6'6" point guard is always a good thing. He gets downhill a lot. He sees the floor pretty good. I like how he finishes with both hands, because he's not an athletic guy playing over the rim. So if you're going to be under the rim, you kind of got to be crafty with it. So I like that he can finish with both hands, sees the floor, uses his body well to create contacts, and uses the angles to finish. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see him as a great shooter. Like when you're watching the film, a lot of guys are giving him space when he's got switches, and the big guys are giving him space to shoot. But again, I think that's when you're dealing with younger guys. I think I don't put so much emphasis on it, because I think it's just the man hours and the sweat equity. Like you have a chance, and you have time to correct that and get it right. Obviously, you want guys to be as natural as possible, but you still have time to correct these things. Some cons, man. I wish I saw him live in the mid range a little bit more, because being like you're not so athletic and trying to do everything at the rim at that next level is tougher. So I think that's something that he could work on, instead of trying to go all the way to the rim, shoot to the mid range sometime. But again, him going to the rim all the time and putting that pressure on the rim and playing downhill is what allows him to be such a good passer, because guys have to help, the defense is rotating, and he's making these kickouts for shots. So again, with him, I think I saw the Spurs are interested in him, and I'm sure they have a plan for it. So it'll be interesting to see with him. I know he's got the injury going on. I think he has like a partially torn ACL right now. I think that's what I saw. And that's a problem. But at the same time, he's not the most athletic guy already. So it's kind of like everything he's doing is under the rim. So it's not taking away so much from his game and his ability. You understand what I mean? So I still think he has some chance to grow, some potential. It's just about getting in that right fit in that right situation.
Yeah, as you mentioned, he has the potential to grow. He is going to be one of the younger prospects in the draft. We talked about Sarr and Richardsay. Both of them are just about 2 or 3 months into being 19. I believe Topic hasn't even turned 19 yet, so he's certainly young. You kind of mentioned the fact that he's not athletic. What did you see like defensively, whether it's good or bad? What did you see there that in terms of projecting the next level that would either give you some concern or some level of optimism?
I mean, it could be a level of concern because, man, the floor, the NBA, and the way the game is now, everything's so spaced out. So you kind of got to be able to slide your feet and control your man one-on-one, but being 6'6" again, the point guard, I think that gives him some level of confidence. There's definitely room to grow in that aspect, but from what I've seen, he can be a physical player, like using his body, and I know he's going to compete. He's got a motor to compete, so it'll be interesting to see how it works out for him.
For sure. I know that one of the things I was seeing in one of the more latest mock drafts, I saw him going 10 to Utah, which is the place that certainly could kind of let him go the year without playing pretty comfortably and not really affect what they're trying to do long term. But outside of that, a lot of the teams right after seem to be kind of looking to make some sort of move a little bit more here and now. So I wonder if he's also somebody that could be a candidate to fall, despite all the noise of saying that, yeah, the teams kind of knew that he'd be out this year. So he might be an interesting one to see fall on draft night.
I wonder how it's going to work with the injury. Would they stash him and keep him in Europe? Would they bring him over, let him rehab? If he's ready to go, do they leave him in Europe anyway? Do they put him in the G League? Like, how does things work? I'm sure these guys have a plan for his situation, so it'll be interesting to see.
Hello, and thanks for watching. Be sure to give the video a like, and you can watch more videos over here. You can also click subscribe over here, so you're notified when we have new content here on Expat Hoops.